it's Jasmine. Lately, I have been really into these fall tutorials. I've been into bold lips, and honestly, I just thought, you know what? While I'm inspired by fall, let's also get into some stones. While I was in San Diego, we went down into this market where they had all these different types of stones, and I was kind of really inspired. I actually got a ring. This one right here, which is super, super cute. This is the mother of pearl. But while I was there, I was just like, wow, everything is so beautiful. Everything is shiny. And before I actually left for my trip, I got a huge package of stones, and I got inspired by this stone right here, the Carnelian. And I just based my look around this, as well as just being inspired of the fall colors in general. So I hope you guys all enjoy this look. And if you want to see how I got it, then please keep on watching. I'm starting off this look by applying my NYX Pore Filler Primer. I'm going to apply this more in the center of my face just to fill in the pores and fine line areas. This has become one of my favorite primers to use because I feel like it works a little bit better than the Benefit POREfessional, plus it's a fraction of the price. I just got back home from Disneyland, and when I packed my foundation, I actually packed it in a contact case. I usually pack 2 foundations, and usually they are the NYX Can't Stop Won't Stop foundation and my Catrice HD foundation. So here they are. It's just easy when you're honestly just doing a weekend trip. So I'm gonna go ahead and apply the NYX Can't Stop Won't Stop foundation first. I am in the shade True Beige. I'm just painting this on my skin. This is a really full coverage foundation, and I absolutely love the stuff. It stays on the skin, doesn't crease, and honestly just looks so perfect. And when I was at Disney, I was actually there for, well, I was awake and I had my makeup on for 19 hours, which was insane. And then I'm gonna use my Catrice HD foundation right in the areas that tend to need a little bit more hydration. So that's usually going to be like the center of the face. Lately, my skin has just been a little bit more dehydrated, so I'll just need a little bit more of a liquid-based foundation in the center. I am gonna go ahead and blend this in with a blender. This one is my ShopMissA Paw Paw Charity blender. One of my absolute favorites. I do have an affiliate link in the description box below. I know I barely even talk about my affiliate links, but they're always there for your convenience, as well as all of the products that I use in all of my videos. Now, the great thing about this foundation combination is that it literally just looks like skin, and I just love that. It never looks cakey unless you apply too much NYX Can't Stop Won't Stop, but I mean, mixed in with the Catrice, it kind of just balances out, and it just looks so incredibly stunning on the skin. I love the way it looks. And you know, if people are complimenting your skin and the way your foundation looks, then it's a good sign that you should continue using that foundation. I'm gonna run this right over my eyelids just so it can become a base for my eyeshadows. And I am looking a little bit pale, so I'm just gonna go in with a little bit of a darker concealer. This is another Catrice product. This is their concealer in the shade Bronze Beige. Really like this stuff. I'm running out. I'm like halfway done with this, which is crazy. So I'm just gonna apply it there, and then I'm going to take a lighter shade. This one is gonna be Hazelnut Beige. And this one is gonna go right in the areas that I would like to brighten up. So that's gonna be under the eyes, and then on the forehead, nose, and chin. I'm gonna use the butt of my blender, and I'm going to use this to blend in that cream contour, because I don't want any of the foundation to mix in with this shade because I don't want it to dilute the color. So I'm going to try and just get as much opacity out of this as possible. Now I'm using the side we have foundation on, and that's where I'll go in and tap in that concealer that's just a little bit lighter than the skin, because this shade, I don't want it to look too bright, but I also don't want it to be necessarily my skin tone. So we are just going to dilute that shade to make it look a little bit more natural. I'm also gonna take whatever is left on this sponge, and I'm gonna take that right under the contour, just so it all just looks a little bit more clean. So when I was on vacation, I actually powdered after I did my brows. So that's what I'm gonna do today. I found that my face looked really good when I did that. So we're just gonna continue using that method. For my brows today, I'm gonna use the Salon Perfect Done-in-One Brow Pomade in dark brown. You can get this at Walmart. I'm just gonna go ahead and draw in the eyebrow. This is a really pigmented brow product. So I'm gonna try and be a little light-handed when applying this as much as possible. And I'm using one of my really cool Makeup Revolution brushes. This is their Revolution Pro 160 brush. And then I'm just gonna take my spoolie and blend out the brow area so that we could blend it, make it look a little lighter and not as harsh. So the weekend trip that I went on was so fun. We were celebrating Ryan's birthday and his brother's birthday because they're twins. And when we were there, we went down to San Diego, which was super fun. This was my second time at Balboa Park, and we went to go visit the Japanese gardens, and we went to go visit those little international houses. And it was just really fun. I loved it. It wasn't too hot, but wasn't too cold. It was kind of that perfect weather where it was optional to wear a jacket if you'd like, but also you kind of got a little hot when you were walking, but then when you stopped walking, you weren't that hot anymore. I don't know. It was just a nice weather. It wasn't too windy. It was just honestly really perfect. I'm going to use my Wet n Wild Ultimate Brow Kit in the shade Ash Brown to create the little brow hairs inside my brow. And while we were driving down to Southern California, it was kind of difficult seeing the fires because you just knew in the back of your head, like some of the houses were gone, and it just hurt to think that some people just lost their houses and we were just driving past it. So that was kind of difficult, but you know, I'm glad that majority of the people are safe from the fires, which is really nice. I feel like I look really orange for some weird reason. But I'm going to take some of my foundation and clean up the eyebrow area and also use it as more of an eye base. But yesterday, I got home yesterday from LA and I was sitting on my bed and I kind of had a headache last night because I think I was partially dehydrated, but also I was just really exhausted because the day before I was at the park and I was awake for 19 hours. So I was just done, you know? And I was sitting on my bed and I felt the earthquake, but I was like, I'm probably tired and I'm probably just delusional. And that's literally what I thought to myself. I literally just sat on my bed as the earthquake happened. I said, it's probably just me. And then everyone started calling me and texting me, and all of a sudden my social media was blowing up. And then I was like, wow. I didn't go duck and hide. I literally sat on my bed just waiting to get hurt if anything did happen to me. And I was just thinking to myself, God, Jasmine, you are just literally so dumb sometimes. Sometimes I just feel like my brain is never there and I just make some dumb decisions, but I really thought like I was just so delusional. So that's my story. You know, some people slept through it, some people woke up because of it. I sat right in it. I'm gonna take a clean brush and just brush out the foundation that I applied to clean up my eyebrows. Just using a brush because it's easier than taking a big old sponge to do it. And this is where I'm going to use powder. Now this is the Makeup Revolution Bacon Blot in the shade Banana, and I am going to use the Makeup Revolution brush in 260 to apply this. I'm mostly going to take this under the eyes and on the forehead because the other areas like my bronzer is going to already cover that area. Plus it is 8 at night and I'm not going anywhere, so why waste product, right? I know this is unblended, but once I apply the bronzer, it's all going to come together. So we're gonna ignore that and we're gonna move on into the eyeshadow. So my entire look today is going to be based off of the Carnelian, which is a beautiful red, orange, yellow, stone, just really, really beautiful colors. And I thought it would be perfect to just incorporate the color scheme onto the makeup look that I wanted to do today. Now you can get this type of stone off of peachydreams.us on Instagram. I went to school with one of the owners of the brand, and I am just so excited to just be supporting someone that I know and their business. So I'm really excited to show you guys the look that I want to create. Now it is going to be a rendition of a look that I already have done on my own terms, and I posted it on my Instagram stories not too long ago, and it was using this palette here. This one is by Kaleidos. It is a beautiful, beautiful palette, 6 shades. This one is called their Cyber Bronze palette, just super, super beautiful. And I am just going to go ahead and start with the mustard yellow shade, and I am going to apply this into the crease, and I'm also going to drag it up near the brow bone to act as a transition shade for the other shades that I will be applying afterwards. So you want to make sure that when you are blending out, you are going in windshield wiper motions across the entire eyelid. Now, what I like to do is I like to keep within my brow, so I won't go further than the tail of my brow, and I won't go further than the front of my brow. So that is going to be your guideline for blending out your smoky eyes. I'm going to take the warm chocolatey brown in the palette, which is the second darkest matte, and right in that socket of my eye, this is where I'm going to focus this shade, and it's just going to darken up the entire look. It's going to darken up that mustard shade, and that is exactly what we want. So again, we are doing that same windshield wiper motions to achieve this look. We don't want this one to be super blended out. As you see, it's kind of just sunken in that socket, and that's kind of what we're going for, because I am going to be doing a half cut crease, and something a little bit more condensed in that crease area just looks a little bit better to me when everything is said and done and when the look is completed. So you want to just make sure you are continuing that same motion when you are blending in your crease shades. So I'm going to take one of these brushes. This one's actually by the same brand who makes the palette, Kaleidos. I'm going to take one of their flat brushes, but that also can act as a blending brush. I'm going to take the darkest shade in the palette, and we are going to go right in that outer corner. So as you see, I'm just going to go right in there first, and then I'll take it into the crease, because I want all that darkness right out here, because I find that it looks the best, especially if you have almond shaped eyes and you kind of want to just make it a little bit bigger but also enhance that smokiness. I just find that it's the best method for me. And now I'm taking that same really dark brown shade, and I'm kind of just patting it in the outer corner because I want to make sure that that color just builds. And then I'll go back in with that windshield wiper motion in that same brush. Now, without picking up any additional shades, I'm taking the original blending brush, and I'm just going in that same windshield wiper motion to blend everything together. We're going to use our foundation again, and we are going to create that cut crease. So I always start right in the base of my eyelid, and then I will take the color up. So I'm just going to finish this up before I take my medicine. Some people have a trick where, you know, they apply it and then they look up and they do all that, but I kind of been doing the same cut creases since like forever, so I kind of already have an idea of what shape that I like. I take my concealer higher than my natural crease shade because I want my eyes to look a little bit bigger. So this is normally where I'll stop, and then I will take my finger and blend out that edge so it's not super harsh and it's not too wet. Because when you apply your shimmers right on top, you don't want it to just gather in one place. You want it to be even. So I'm just going to pat out the rest of the eyelid once I've done that. There are 2 cranberry shades in the palette here. This shade is gonna go towards the middle of my eyelid, and then this one is gonna go towards the inner corner of my eyelid. So I'm gonna take a flat brush. This is also from Kaleidos. And I'm just gonna take that darker, richer red cranberry and apply this right in the center, and you're gonna use tapping motions to apply this because you really want it to adhere to the foundation. You don't want to move the foundation around, you just want it to hold it. So we're just gonna continue that patting motion. This color is a pretty stiff shade, so you do have to go back into the palette a couple times to really get it to its fullest opacity, but honestly, I'm not mad at it. So I'm just gonna continue working with it. Don't hate me, but I'm using a discontinued Colourpop item. This is their Supernova shadow in the shade Walk of Fame. I wanted to use it because it's more of a coppery shade. So I'm taking this on the back of my hand and I'm gonna see if I could use this to carve out my crease, but it seems like this is kind of dry. I'm taking this on my Sigma E10 brush to outline my cut crease. Yeah, y'all see that line? Perfect. Exactly what I wanted. I'm gonna use a red liquid lipstick. This one is by Covergirl. This is their Full Spectrum Matte Idol in the shade Tyrant. And I'm gonna use that same Sigma brush to create my wing eyeliner. And I don't have any orangey red liquid lipsticks, but this will honestly do. And then right near that lash line, I'm gonna use my NYX Epic Ink Eyeliner, and I'm just going to make that as black as possible. And I'm only doing this because I do have really small eyes, and when I apply my lashes, I need them to blend into something, and this is the only way I can make that happen. I'm gonna take my orange lip liner. This one's by Sigma. It's their Power Liner in the shade Heartbeat. And I'm gonna use this on my lower waterline to just make it a little bit brighter. So now I am blending in the red shimmer shade onto the lower lash line because I wanted to look a little bit more inspired by the Carnelian stone. So I think this is really nice so far, but I am gonna deepen it up just a little bit with the matte brown. For my mascara, I'm going to use a generous coat of the Essence Lash Princess in the volume formula. And this is just going to make my lashes really black and prep them for the fake lashes. For lashes today, I'm applying Simple Babe from Kinky Minky Lashes. It is a Cambodian-owned lash brand from one of my viewers, Jamie. So I'm really excited to be using these. This is going to be my first time using this. These lashes are really, really pretty. They're not too big, but they kind of just frame the entire cut crease beautifully. Looks really, really good. So I'm gonna do this eye off camera and I'll be right back. For bronzer, I'm using my Milk Chocolate Soleil bronzer by Too Faced with my Sigma F40. I'm applying this right over the areas where I did apply the cream contour, and this kind of just makes it easier when applying this because it kind of just blends in with each other, it meshes well, and if you are a beginner, just try doing the cream before the powder and maybe it'll be easier for you when you are doing it, because sometimes when I am rushing, I will do the cream and it kind of just blends everything together. And like now you see there's not a line on my forehead, on my cheeks, it kind of just smooths everything out. And overall, it's just so much faster and easier. I'm gonna take a little bit of this on my nose, just so there's a little bit of color there and a little bit on the chin. For blush, I'm using my Catrice blush box in the shade Berry with my Elysium Yori blush brush. I'm gonna go ahead and smile and apply this. This blush is pretty pigmented, so you do want to take just a little bit. And because this brush is a little bit more dense, the color payoff is gonna be a lot more extreme than a brush that is a little bit more flimsy. So I'm just gonna go ahead and just continue blending this in and just taking whatever is extra on my nose. You guys haven't seen me use this in a while, but this is the ShopMissA Perfect Pressed Highlighter in the shade Lavish. I'm applying this with my Sigma F03 highlighting brush. This highlight, once you really buff it in the skin in circular motions, it just looks like skin, like wet skin. Now, I'm not sure if I love this shade Lavish in particular. I am definitely still trying to find my perfect shade in this line. And I just feel like Lavish is the closest that I like, but it's not anything like the Powlighter where it is super gleaming and and just really intense. So I think someone who might like a little bit more of like a dewy highlight and a little bit more close to the skin, almost like a sweat highlight, will like this a little bit more than the Powlighter. For lip liner, I'm using my Beige Cosmetics waterproof lip liner in the shade Rouge. This is just a really dark mahogany plum shade. For lipstick, I'm using the Real Her I Am Amazing lipstick, and this is just a really nice bright orange lipstick. It's going to tone down the lip liner and overall just match the stone a little bit more. Alright everyone, that wraps up my video. Hope you guys all enjoy. I'm really loving this look. I hate the fact that it's now almost 9 o'clock and I still have nowhere to go. I have nothing to do, no homework to even do. So I'm just going to be sitting in this eating cookies pretty much for the rest of the night. So I hope you guys all enjoy this tutorial. Thank you guys so much for watching and I will see you guys later. Bye! Peace out, Girl Scouts.